Welcome to the Love, Health, and Prosperity Podcast. I'm Marcelo, your host. We're in the third season of the show, and we're extremely happy at the fact that we are bringing to you some of the most important topics that really concern our border city. Now, there's a lot of questions that arise regarding mental health, regarding making our families stronger, regarding being able to engage in hobbies and lifestyles that really make you the individual that you are. A lot of times we don't really think about all those little micro things that make us happy. A lot of times we just take it for granted. And that's not a good thing to do. And let me tell you why. Because it's important that people exercise their passion, what makes them happy. Today's guest is going to talk to us about that. But before I actually go into it, what do you do to help somebody who sometimes has a difficult time understanding that therapy can be the answer, but they refuse? They're not there yet. They want to be able to first ensure that they could talk to somebody before they actually go to a professional. But, you know, the reason why we're talking about this is because sometimes having this conversation with a friend or with the family is the best thing that we can do. So without further ado, today we have Chef Clayton Berry.
Thank you, sir.
How are you?
Excellent. Thank you for inviting me. This is one of the greatest podcasts that I watch as far as like me being a spiritual and mental, like a meditating type person. I love watching your podcast.
You're fully active, man.
Thank you so much.
You got a lot on your plate.
I'm blessed.
Literally
I'm blessed.
lot on your plate, which is really cool, man,
Yeah.
because I've been wanting to have this conversation with you for
Thank
such
you.
a long time. I met you at an event not too long ago.
Yeah, through Paul, I believe, right?
Yeah, and then it was really cool at the fact that that you're just active all the time, and you have a story. You have a very important story that you'd like to share with the world.
Yeah,
Kind of like the story that I have, where you really had to overcome a lot of things.
Sure.
The subject today is sadness,
Right.
And the subject is it goes along with depression as well,
Right.
So we want to be able to drill that.
Okay, no problem.
What's your experience with that, or your growing up? What was it like for you?
Growing up, I gotta say, I'm from El Paso, and it was a great experience growing up in El Paso. I had that neighborhood type of atmosphere. You know, wake up in the morning, run outside, see who's outside, play kickball, throw football, bike rides. Really good childhood. You know what I mean? My parents worked a lot. You know, I was living with my grandparents, and that was my best influence in my whole life. My grandparents were the best people. I mean, kind, giving, just very, very, great people. And that was the best influence I ever had. Unfortunately, when I was in fifth grade, or about fifth grade, my dad got a job, we moved from here to Florida when that Hurricane Andrew hit. He's a contractor. So we started, kind of a better life, a different life.
Hurricane Andrew.
Yeah. So it was like 1991. And so he took all four of the whole family. We drove all the way down to Florida and started a new life. So me, happy-go-lucky kid, ready to go play. I'm in a new city, and it just didn't turn out that way. It was absolutely the opposite. Culture shock. Like nobody wanted to really befriend me, man. It was really kind of a shock in a way. You know what I mean? Like, really, like I'm trying to just want to kick it. I just want to be friends.
Yeah.
Like everybody was kind of like,
you wanted to relate.
Yeah, I just wanted a friend, somebody to kick it with, somebody to just relate. Yeah, you're right. And it ended up being my brother. Me and my brother for 3 or 4 summers just together, like eating and playing video games and just us two, you know what I mean? Like figuring it out, and my parents worked a lot, it's a long story short, but basically my dad didn't pan out, and we were stuck in Florida, and he had to get the kind of 9 to 5s. So working in Florida, it was just a high cost of living, and it was me and my brother latchkey kids, you know what I mean? Just trying to figure it out ourselves, you know what I mean? It was so confusing to go from that dynamic of, grandparents love, family love, friends, this city, small city, to Florida.
Yeah. And how old were you at this time?
10.
10?
Yeah. I believe, yeah.
So you were going through the changes, like for example, years after that, all of
Mm-hmm.
a sudden, the hormones start to kick in.
Yeah, and that's what I'm saying. So like not only friends, now I'm looking for a girlfriend, someone to actually like date, you know what I mean? Like, and just I remember like giving CDs, giving flowers to girls and trying to figure it out. I just felt like an alien in a different realm because it just wasn't working out the same way it was in El Paso.
Yeah,
so I struggled
definitely.
and struggled, eighth grade with like gang stuff, just because they were friends, right? They wanted me to be in their gang. So it was like, like a friend, and I would do stupid things like stealing and fighting and, just dumb things just to fulfill my need for friends. You know what I mean?
When did you start realizing that you were perhaps struggling with emotions, and all of a sudden, things like the words like sadness and depression came into lifestyle?
So that between that time I'm telling you and now, I really don't. I'd have to like really delve into when exactly, but I could tell you for sure. I can actually like tell you without worrying about it that I do battle depression. And it's a day-to-day thing, it could be a great day today, or, sometimes I'm really struggling, I need to meditate for an hour. I need to hike.
How did you find out though, Chef? How did you find out? What was the symptomology?
You have to hit rock bottom. And I tell people this all the time, when people are struggling and you were like, what's wrong with this person? They have to hit rock bottom. And I'm not going to be sad about that. I'm not going to, go around it with a, feather. You have to hit rock bottom and you got to see it. So my rock bottom was, I really thought that my marriage was after 12 years not working. And somebody had befriended me a little bit more that I thought maybe could love me more. And so I decided to divorce my wife and pursue a relationship with this person. And she ended up pretty much dumping me after 2 months, and so I had sacrificed everything. I have 2 kids. I have 3 kids now, but I had sacrificed everything and I lost everything. Money, my kids' relationship, even living situation changed from at home with my kids and my wife, and then I transitioned to my brother's house thinking I'd be cool, and that didn't work out. So I transitioned and lived with my alcoholic mother. So that was my rock bottom. I was in a room like this and I was at a desk and all I did was write menus, and I had a vision of being a personal chef, and my goal and my dream was to have somebody turn the corner and say, hey chef, what's for dinner? And I just kept my eye on the prize from that point.
So one of the things that you mentioned was decision making was a big factor for you during these times.
Yeah.
And some of the decisions that you had to make during that time growing up were sometimes throwing you off of your groove, so to say. Yeah. So what did you learn about the importance of being able to just kind of, taking a step back and looking at a different perspective regarding?
So 2020, during that time, I had to figure out a lot of things, you know what I mean? Like number one, my, not idol, but my, that person that you replicate that really you think is going to makes it through life, really conquers life, was my dad. And his persona, his persona is intimidating, anger, very brash. And so that's what I tried to emulate. And I had to realize that that's not me. That's not me. And I was into a lot of entrepreneur podcasts, different things at that time. So I latched on to Gary Vee, even though in the beginning it was really brash. It was like that person that I didn't want to be.
Yeah.
But somehow I got the message through his business that it was like kindness is the answer. Work hard and don't stop. Don't take your head up until you hit the goal. And I'm like, this is what I want to resonate with. I understand he has anger, but I do too. You know what I mean? So let me keep going. Gary Vee has got to be one of the people that really got me out of that funk. Other than physically, my actual cousin Teresa, who taught me how to meditate and helped me, learn how to.
So you gathered resources.
Sure, definitely, yeah. But it was active. You know what I mean? I wanted to get better. Because like depression is that hill that just keeps going down, and you can go further and further and further. But I really actively wanted to get better. You know what I mean? And I knew that it was a rock bottom that I was in. I knew that it was a hell that I was in.
I don't want to really kind of put you on the spot,
sure,
because I'm not the type of kind of person that puts people on the spot.
No problem.
But what were some of your symptoms when you realized that you were, depressed?
So my patience is thin. Like anything, little thing will make me like jump and that's, what are you doing? And I'll really demean you. I'll really kind of make you feel dumb. You know what I mean? And I don't necessarily like that, but I in the moment I think that I'm being like helpful.
So you would actually kind of bully people. That was one.
Bully and definitely intimidate them like my dad. Yeah, for sure. Mm-hmm. Yeah. Also, like I would self-deprecate. You know what I mean? I'm so stupid. I'm an idiot. Why did I do that? And
you beat yourself up.
Beat myself up. Yeah, exactly. Yeah. I'm in this spot because of my decisions, and I'm an idiot. You know, things like that. And I didn't realize like life is, you know, circumstances, and every day you have those circumstances and you have a chance to change, you know? And like I said, the kindness is the answer. I think about that every day because Gary Vee said, like, kindness is the answer and you can take it as it is. But the thing is, it's absolutely true in the face of blatant disrespect. If you can be kind, it's a strength. Whereas I grew up as that's a weakness, you know? I'm supposed to beat up that person. You know what I mean? That's my MO.
Yeah.
So
you mentioned that having a couple of people in your circle as support.
Right.
Your sister, I think you had mentioned.
No, it's my cousin Teresa.
Your cousin, okay, and a couple of other people that would help you out also.
Right.
Did you ever consider perhaps therapy at the time?
So I don't like shun therapy, but I am like really independent. I've always been independent. So in college, my aunt that I lived with at the time said, you know, it's a resource that's free. You should try therapy. And I'm like, no. Eventually, like,
you were in denial.
I was in denial.
Yeah.
Eventually, like, I had to be like, well, it can only help. Like things are bad. Like, you know what I mean? Like my parents didn't give me these life skills to get through life. You know what I mean? I'm living with my aunt. She's like, wide-eyed, like, you need help. I can't give you help. You know what I mean? Like, as educated as I am, and I have kids myself, I just can't help you, Clay. Try this, you know? And thank the Lord that I actually, you know, took that resource because it was free at college, you know, Scottsdale Community College, where I was getting my culinary arts degree. I walked in and her name was Miss Wyatt. I remember her name because it was a life-changing experience, you know what I mean? To walk into an office and, you know, maybe her personality helped me with, you know, accepting therapy, but the fact that I could sit there and talk about my life, and she was interested, number one. Secondly, she was very like engaging. Yes, is the word. Like, it wasn't just like interesting. It was very engaging. She would call me at night and be like, how did that go? Did you know, or and I'm like, this is different. So, you know what I mean? Somebody actually cares. She's not just that's not her job. She's not getting paid. Like, thank you. You know what I mean? Like, wherever this is coming from, you know, thank you. You know what I mean? Like, so I don't shun it, but it's just like, I never reached out again to therapy. Yeah.
But you did notice that it had a positive effect.
Oh, tremendously. Because it's like every time you talk about something and somebody cares what you're saying, it's like you're releasing a balloon, and it's like, yeah, that happened, but like, I don't remember exactly what happened. You know, it's not so detrimented. It's not so, you know, hurtful. You know what I mean? I can deal with those things now. You know what I mean?
How did it feel to talk to her about, you know, some of the things that you went through in life? Because I know a divorce is huge. I know not spending the amount of time with your kids the way that you want to can take a toll on yourself as well. How did it feel to be able to express that to a therapist?
I haven't. Yeah, this was in 2004 when I was in culinary school that I saw a therapist. So I haven't really seen anybody since then. It's more of been the meditation that's helped me through that.
All right. And so the meditation, can you walk us a little bit about that, how you learned that skill, and what is it that you do?
At first, you know, I was definitely like a person that was like, okay, meditation, cool, but that's not gonna help my life. You know what I mean? Like, I have issues, I have problems, I have really like deep things that happen to me that I can't. And my cousin was like, well, I mean, she's like a lighthouse. She's not gonna be like, you got to do this and you got to do this, A, B, C, 1, 2, 3. No, she's like, if you want it, it's right here. She, you know,
here's the information.
This is the information. You know, I have a book. Well, Teresa, what's the book? You know what I mean? I had to make those steps. You know what I mean? And nobody's gonna like push you into meditation. So I gotta let you know that when I got into meditation, it's like you get into like, you ever seen Hoarders? That movie Hoarders? That's what it feels like. You finally find a way to meditate and to bring yourself down, your heartbeat down, and to feel your rhythm of your breathing. And then you're in your head and you're thinking about, you're seeing all these. It's like, I call it a book, like bookshelves, and you're just one by one, like, okay, I want to clear these so I can get to what I'm actually thinking about, what is going on in my head. So I'm like, this and that, and this and that, and this, and it doesn't happen in one day. You know, it's meditation after meditation after meditation. And sometimes, like right now, like I still have these things on my bookshelf that I can't get to. You know what I mean? So I have to actively meditate 45 minutes, 15 if I have it. You know, to get to that spot, and then this is what at the core of my, center. This is what I need to do. And I'll tell you one time what it was my alcoholic mother, I had left her, and I just totally blatantly just cut her off. But I'm leaving an entrepreneur event, and it might have been the one I was with you, but I just was like in a 15-minute meditation in my car, and I was like, you know what? It's my mom's birthday. I gotta stop by and just, I'm gonna get her some food, and I'm gonna get something from Great America. I know she loves that place, and then just tell her I forgive her. But you can say I forgive you, right, to somebody, but when you say, look them in the eyes and you say I forgive you, like everything you've done to me, it doesn't hurt me. Like I want you to live your life free of worrying about what you did to me, because I'm here now and I'm a strong man.
So forgiveness was a powerful tool for you.
Sure, absolutely, yeah, definitely.
Great. And you see, all this, we live in a time where things are just kind of crazy.
Sure.
Why do you, in your opinion, why do people suffer so much from sadness and depression right now, from what you've seen?
Well, the thing is, sadness and depression are like drugs. You want to get more sad and more depressed. And the thing is, when you do those things, it's like a flag. It's like, look at me, I'm depressed. And people are like, oh, what's wrong? And you get to tell your story, and you get to get sobbed, and people feel sorry for you. And that's the addiction. You want to do that over and over and over again. You know what I mean? And so depression is something that you'll never let go of until you shake it off and stop worrying about it. Don't tell nobody you feel depressed. Get on about your life. In fact, don't worry about you. Worry about that person's plight. How can you help that person? And then all of a sudden, things change.
This is what worked for you?
This is what worked for me. Absolutely. Okay. Yeah. And I'll tell you the truth. Like I told you, I'm still like actively, sometimes depression comes, the people let me down, I busted my ankle and I started losing weight. These things happen, but you have to actively figure it out. Okay, well, what my ankle, am I dead? No. Well, what's bothering me? I'm actually losing weight. I wanted to gain weight. Oh, okay. Well, I can still do this. I can still do that. You know what I mean? So it's depression will get you, and you don't understand it, but you got to figure it out. You can't just sit there and wallow in your depression. That's my advice.
Oh, absolutely. And it's golden advice that you're giving also. What are some of the major things right now that you've noticed that have changed your life and that you've done a 180 regarding being able to manage those emotions that sometimes can be overpowering?
I couldn't tell you like a 180. I wish I could like pinpoint it. Like it's always meditation, but it's more of the.
Today, for example, you did something that was very significant. Oh yeah, how did that make you feel?
So paying it forward. I was just gonna definitely talk about paying it forward. So my podcast is part of that, but like when I went to school today, it's like hey, can you do career day? I'm like, yes. We put it on my calendar. I don't think about like what's on my calendar. I just put it on the calendar. You know what I mean? And I just know that this is my path, right? This is my path, and I get the opportunity to go to the school and talk to these kids. You know what I mean? And I'll tell you, 80% of them are not listening to what I want. They're what I'm saying. They want candy or something to take home or my card, and stuff like that. So I just try to like give like this motivational speech, and I'm talking about, hey guys, you like to cook? Well, I loved to cook when I was your age. See these 2 degrees? I put 4.5 years into this, and I put 20 years into cooking, and then I made my own business. See my card? This is my card. I'm a personal chef. I go to your house and I cook for you in your house. Not like Uber Eats where you get McDonald's. You have a chef come to your house, And these guys are like, what? Oh, I want to be a chef. So I like that. I mean, even if like maybe 1 or 2 is actually like into it, like I'm all about that. I like that a lot.
Paying it forward.
Yeah, paying it forward for sure. And have you ever seen that movie?
Yeah, but I can't quite recall.
Well, it was really impactful to me. It was about a little kid actually, and I can't really give it away, but it was a really impactful movie to me. And I've always thought about paying it forward, and being in the position I am now, I really feel that I am paying it forward by being genuine and honest about my life.
Well, that's the thing. One of the things that I know work for me. I'm not in the profession, but every now and then I'll just get lost in the kitchen.
Oh yeah,
and I'll start cooking something up. But how it makes me feel, I do pay attention to that.
Yeah.
I do know that it helps me when I'm frustrated, when I'm pissed off, when life is on top of me, when I feel down and in the dumps, when I get into a fight with the wifey, or when I'm having a bad day with the kids. Sometimes going in the kitchen and doing that, for me, it helps me.
Yeah, I think that might be a type of meditation then for you. You're able to, kind of center yourself in that moment and just worry about the cooking and kind of block everything out. You know what I mean?
That's kind of what I wanted to kind of touch bases with you on that too. I mean, since you're in that field, did it help you out a lot?
I love cooking. And the thing is that I lost it. I went to culinary school in 2004. I worked in the industry till about 2012. I even had my own food truck. And I got married, and then I just let go of it. I was worried about providing, you know what I mean? I had this great job at Costco and I was getting paid great money, and that's all I worried about was providing, and I let go of my passion, man. In 2020, I was like, there's nothing stopping me from being a personal chef, and I just started cooking every day, and I just felt that rush again, you know what I mean? Like I wanted to be in the kitchen, so I started applying to see if I could be a saute, and it didn't work out. So I was like, you know what? I'm gonna be a personal chef. I did this in culinary school, and I'm gonna do it. You know what I mean? And the fulfillment of cooking is one thing, but giving food to somebody and they're like, God, I don't even want to eat this. Like, this is so beautiful. That's great. That's better than money to me. And then when people are like eating it and they're like, damn, that was good, Clay, and then the clean plate, and it's like, that's better than money to me. You know what I mean? So I understand what I like more than money in life. You know what I mean? And I just gonna.
But there's a mental health aspect to it also. I love that you mentioned that.
Yeah.
But the fact that you're saying that right now you're not focused too much on what the result is.
Yeah.
But the journey.
It's
right
the underlying, it's the silver lining. You're right. Yeah.
What is it? How has the journey been for you? How has it made you feel? That you have done, because you've done so much.
Yeah. What does the journey make me feel like? It just makes me feel like that I did it. After 4 years, like I put in the work, and I had a vision, and I told people, hey, this is what I want. I'm washing dishes, telling people, hey, I'm gonna come to your house and I'm gonna cook for you, and then and they're like, man, shut up, Clay. Keep doing dishes. I'm like, all right, man. And I'm just like going home, writing menus, and I just had this vision, you know what I mean? And so what it did for me is it's like, I did it, you know what I mean? There's nobody that can take that away from me. All that work I put in, all that networking, the people that know me as Chef Clay, they can't take that away from me, you know what I mean? So I'm just going to keep that momentum and just keep going, you know what I mean?
I love what you're saying there, because look, it doesn't matter how they beat us up.
Right.
It doesn't matter.
It's so much hard work. It's so much hard work. It's so much time, no sleeping. I mean, I used to put a timer. I'd be like, damn, I'm home at 2 a.m. All right, I get 5 hours of sleep, maybe 4.5. Let me put a timer on so I can get up and do the right thing. You know what I mean? Like, so yeah, man.
That could be difficult. And a lot of people say, okay, well, how do you combat all this? But it's not how many times you fall. It's about how many times
you get up. Absolutely. And keep going. Yeah.
That's why I love your story so much.
Yeah.
And that's why I really wanted for you to talk about this subject.
Yeah.
Because regardless of all the things that you've been through, right? In this short conversation that we're having, you were able to overcome so much. You're an example to this community, Clay.
Thank you.
And I'm happy to be able to share that story with people.
Yeah, thank you so much.
Because honestly, man, there's so many people that just want to call it quits. Sure. Sadness and depression sometimes lead to suicidal thoughts.
And I feel so bad for those people, because it's bad, man. It's like I tell you, it's a drug, but I mean, when you're addicted to something, you know what I mean? Like it's got to be you that gets yourself out of that hole. You got to make those changes for the people that love you. Make those changes for yourself. You know what I mean? Like you have a future that God gave you. You know what I mean? And He also gave you your own will, so it's your choice. You know what I mean?
Thank you. Yeah. That's awesome. That's so good that you're sharing that news.
But also, my mantra is stay positive, stay motivated, and keep going. So like in the dumps, whatever's going on, I'm like, gotta stay positive, gotta stay motivated, and gotta keep going. And then that's my mantra for real.
I love your mantra.
Thank you.
But hold on, one more time. Repeat that one more time, because that was really cool too.
I always do a hashtag, but it's hashtag stay positive, stay motivated, and keep going.
Perfect. Awesome. Thank you for that.
Absolutely.
Also, I wanted to share with the people that are listening to right now some of the signs and symptoms according to the Diagnostic and Statistical Manual of Mental Health Disorders, DSM-5, include the following. It's prolonged sadness or unexplained crying spells. That's one of the symptoms for depression. Significant changes in appetite and sleep patterns. Irritability, anger, worry, agitation, anxiety. You have loss of energy, persistent lethargy, feelings of guilt and worthlessness. A lot of the things that we were talking about right now. And I want to let people know that you have friends to talk to.
Absolutely.
You have, just like Clay, he had family, he had his brother to talk to. We can also reach out not only to friends, but we could also reach out to a mental health professional if needed, for sure.
And I would say don't be scared, because like start the initial conversation just like you met somebody on the street, and if it works, because you go feel the vibe. You know what I mean? And people are in those professions for a reason. I would say definitely take the time just to try it out at least once.
Perfect. Thank you for that.
Absolutely.
Now we've actually we have a part on the show. We want you to kind of inspire us a little bit.
Oh, all right.
and being able to overcome what you've overcome. I know you give 3 points, but I want you to give a good message to that camera right there as to how to motivate somebody and get them to pursue their dreams.
Well, for me, it's like I realize that I'm a very passionate person, right? I love people who are passionate too. So I need you to figure out what your passion is. You know, if it's cooking, if it's cleaning, if it's like drawing, if it's anything. Once you find your passion, I believe you'll be able to just find that little bit more happiness in your life. And maybe you can create a career like I did, but you can just do it on the side, or you could just do it after work or whatever, and just have that little bit of fulfillment in your life. And I believe that you'll be so motivated to do other things, because that little bit of accomplishment, a little bit of success is like a momentum. Keep doing it, and then the ball rolls, and then you're all of a sudden depression's back there.
Nice. So luck favors action.
Absolutely. Hard work. And I would say God blesses people who work hard as well.
Thank you for that also. That is powerful too.
Yes, sir.
For sure.
Yes, sir.
Awesome. So, believe it or not, it's already been 30 minutes of our conversation.
Nice.
We wanted to thank you for being on our show and sharing what the valuable information that you have.
And thank you so much for what you're doing. I mean, every time I watch, every time I see something, I learn something new, but I feel the vibe. So I thank you so much. You know what I mean? If this could be a bigger show and just transcend to the rest of the community, I can't wait till that happens, you know?
Awesome. Thank you for that.
Absolutely.
And thank you guys for watching this week's episode of the Love, Health, Prosperity podcast. Don't forget to subscribe to our channel. It's because of views and because of the support of you guys that we continue growing as a podcast. So we want to thank you guys for watching this week's episode. We'll see you next week.